All right, I'm doing a test stream really quick. I'm just checking some settings and doodads and seeing how things show up. Oop, 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 oop. Okay, so little screen, big screen, all screen. Okay.
God created the universe out of nothing, and it was perfect because God is perfect, and he made the first people, Adam and Eve. They were perfect too, and there was no death and no disease. But the people rebelled against God. That was called the fall, and that is how sin entered the world. And sin is the reason we have death. God finds sin unacceptable. It's what separates us from him, because he's perfect. So when we die with sin in our hearts, we can never be with God. We go to hell forever. But God so loved the world, he sent a part of himself to pay the price for your sin so that you can be saved. That is called the atonement. And the atonement is the only way for you and me to be with God.
Well, yes.
So the moderate C word name actually came from this video. Anti-theists would call me a moderate C word. And so it actually is kind of stemming from this video.
That would be a monumentally simplistic and infantile representation of the Christian doctrine. I think we're all grown up enough to understand that the Bible is not supposed to be taken literally. It doesn't call itself a science book. The creation story, for instance, is just an old fable concocted by ancient people trying to make sense of the world around them.
I agree, Nate Cunningham.
Not a historical event. So we can get rid of that. And what about the first human beings? Well, we theistic evolutionists know that every organism on Earth is simply one connecting dot on a vastly long transitional branch of the evolutionary tree. You might well say there never was a first human. Adam and Eve? How childish. And what about this idea of perfection? Was there ever a time in our ancestry when human beings lived a perfect life with neither sweat nor toil? No death and no disease. I think we can all agree that that sort of nonsense only happens in fairy tales. And that means there was never any perfection from which to fall. So let's take this away. And without the fall, there's no way for sin to enter the world. And no sin means there's no need for hell. And if there's no sin and no hell, there's no need for Jesus to come and atone for anything. So let's get rid of this. In fact, there's no need for Jesus to...
So what's fascinating with all this like blocks lined up, I just want to point out that it's contingent upon a certain theology setup that's in evangelical America only. And I find that fascinating. So the person that set this up, it's set up for, you have to have atonement theory. You have to have original sin. You have to believe in hell and like there's no other option, right? So like all those three, it's set up with those theological things just like as a given, you know, but there's other theological positions within those, but it negates any of them. It's just going for what most evangelicals profess, which is interesting. But I always thought this was very overly simplistic, but you know, fair enough.
to exist at all. And that leaves a rather incomplete God. I think we can all agree that an incomplete God is no God at all.
What
So
happened to Nate
let's
Cunningham?
take
Does anyone
that
know?
away. Right. What's left? What do we moderate Christians actually believe? Oh. Fuck.
Oh, look, it's Phony Beatlemaniac.
What are you saying, Gary?
Poor
Nate
Phony.
Cunningham's in trouble? He's inadvertently demolished the foundations of Christianity by removing just one scientifically invalid verse from the Old Testament? Don't worry, Gary.
I miss Max.
Moderate Christian comes to the rescue!
Oh, thank goodness you're here. I seem to have accidentally destroyed the whole of Christianity. Hey, don't worry, Nate Cunningham. We'll have your moderate ideology rebuilt before you can say progressive theistic liberalism. But look, every time I try to remove Adam and Eve, sin gets dislodged, and that pushes atonement off the pile, which means there's nowhere to put Jesus. Hey, how about putting sin down here at the bottom? I tried that, but you can't rest God's creation on top of sin, can you? That wouldn't make any sense at all. Crumbs. I see what you mean. This is going to be trickier than I thought. We're going to need help. Good idea, Gary. Go fetch Shanna.
Oh, wow. Looks like you guys are having a whole heap of fun.
Thank goodness you're here. We need your advice from a super moderate, non-denominational.
So that's not Shanna's voice at all. That is definitely Tanya Galaxy's voice, which is hilarious. I'm getting a phone call, and I'm gonna put that on mute. I don't really ever see her coming to the rescue of moderate Christians. So I always thought that was an interesting interpretation of events at how it would fall. Now, granted, this is cartoons, and obviously, Phony Beatlemaniac is not actually a dog, or whatever that is. I don't know. It's very odd. But I never really saw her come to the rescue of moderate Christians like that. So it seems like it's a very unfair depiction.
Deistic perspective. Look, I've broken the whole of Christianity, and I can't work out how to put it back together.
Okay, let's take some deep breaths. You need to remember something, young man.
Remember what?
You're a moderate.
I know, but...
Moderates are not like normal human beings. We're special.
Yes, we are special.
What do moderates do when our beliefs come under scrutiny?
We use smug, moderate, cunt power!
Okay, let's kick this piece of crap in the garbage. Now, Nate, what does Christianity mean to you?
It means, Jesus atoned.
So what is this? This is a Sci 10 cartoon called Christianity Destroyed, and it's meant to take a swing at moderate Christians or progressive Christians. And this was done like several years ago. It's a funny cartoon with different people and different players at the time. And people always wondered where my moderate C word came from, that handle. It actually came from this cartoon and the anti-theist behind it. So.
Atoned for my sins?
No, Nate. You're a moderate. You need to describe your faith by using the most incoherently nebulous analogy known to mankind.
Okay. Christianity is like knocking on a metaphysical door and not knowing for certain whether anyone is listening on the other side.
Excellent. That's perfect.
Hey, let's use this insignificant bit of wool to represent the door.
And I will put this formless piece of fluff over here to represent the possibility of someone being on the other side.
Oh, please be careful.
Oh, it's too insubstantial. No, it's blowing away. Too weak to make analogy.
Oh, Mouty, thank goodness you're here. We need some serious backslapping.
Okay.
Right. And this is, again, my problem with anti-theists. So there's anti-theists like Shannon Q, which I don't think follow into that, but there's a whole lot of anti-theists that follow this debate bro kind of, as Hannah put out in the earlier stream thing, and like this not Darth Dawkins. Darth Dawkins has ruined Dawkins' name, but this Dawkins way of dealing with people. And so there's this firebrand anti-theist that really had a problem with anybody that was a progressive Christian or a moderate Christian. And so like they would say things like, oh, you're a moderate Christian or you're a progressive Christian. That just means that you'll hold us down while, the conservative Christians will stone us. Like they would make these really kind of horrible comparisons and not like maybe take into account that a moderate Christian might be on the battleground constantly trying to push for more progressive ideas, actually in the most adverse situation possible. But hey, who's counting? Gotta love anti-theists, So when someone says they're an anti-theist, I ask a lot of questions, and I still think it's a terrible title. I just do. And I really like Aunt Shannon Q, but like that title is a big flag for me almost always, because it leads to this sort of thing.
I don't normally say this, but what you just did with that piece of fluff was incredible. The way you let it drift through your fingers like that. Oh my God, I thought it was awesome. No, scratch that. You are awesome. Each and every one of you.
Mounty backslapping power up.
I think I've got it. What if the whole of Genesis is literally true, but only within its own isolated time frame and occurring inside the broader context of evolution as a whole?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I think we can all agree that God must have chosen two pre-existing naturally evolved hominids, a male and a female, into each of whom he breathed a soul, and that is what made them perfectly human. They rebelled against God, the fall happened, their sinful children bred with other non-human hominids, causing every subsequent generation to be both human and tainted. And that is why we need science and Jesus.
This is the most incomprehensible theory I have ever heard. Well done, Nate Cunningham.
Moderate cunt power! Yay!
That's right, you cheeky little scamp.
Oh, Mody.
So that's the New Covenant group, and that's Dr. Jones, I believe. I think that's Dr. Jones. He looks really different in this. Why you'd hate on Dr. Jones? No clue. maybe because he dares talk about language and how it's fucked up now and how we interpret it in the Bible. And oh, how dare he? I don't know. Oh, see, I told you it was galaxy. And there you go. So that was where the moderate C word came from. And I actually did change my Twitter handle away from that because this confuses everybody. But I do have a channel called Moderate C Word, just so you know. And I used to do open hangouts on that one. So maybe again, I'll revive it, but that is where the title came from. Now, I just wanted to say that this was a test stream. I was testing some things out. I have a practice background in the background, and then I might add a different like logo or something that's more my own later on. Yeah, I was just trying some new features with the paid for StreamYards as opposed to the unpaid StreamYards. And I am going to be doing a stream probably 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I do have an impromptu guest coming over. So I have to move that over. So I will be doing that, and I'll be reviewing, I guess, some of Rev's latest nonsense. So, all right. Well, thank you for showing up for my test stream. And the real stream will be scheduled around 1. So appreciate you, and maybe I'll see you then. All right, bye.